Hi team, and welcome back to Toe the Line podcast. We had a very exciting episode today. If you can tell from the title, I do have my first ever guest here. I actually know him, but we'll get into that. But yeah, very excited, and I guess we'll just jump straight into the intro. So my first ever guest is undoubtedly one of the finest locks to ever play the game and ever put on the black jersey.
You're making me blush, Taylor.
Only the first sentence of the intro. He's played 79 tests for the All Blacks and 105 matches all up. He's also represented Northland and North Harbour in the NPC competition, as well as the Chiefs in the Super Rugby competition. He retired from his international career in 1999 and then went abroad for 3 years where he played for Gloucester and London Wasps over in London. He retired from rugby fully in 2002, and since then he's stayed very connected to the game. He's a TV commentator among various other ambassador roles with different brands and organisations. I feel very honoured and very grateful to be sitting across from All Black number 902, Ian Jones. Ian, welcome to Toe the Line.
Thank you very much, Taylor. That is a wonderful, wonderful intro. It's brilliant the way you delivered it, and thank you very much. I am very honoured, I have to say, to be your number one first guest.
Yeah.
And also, maybe we can say, a friendship that's gone back a long, long time from and people may not know this, your wonderful swimming career.
Yes, no, well, we are here to talk about you, not me, but we do. But yes, Ian and I do know each other. I swam with his son Flynn. Flynn and I were very good friends throughout the swimming years, and yeah, it's just really nice to connect, and it's funny how worlds collide back in years to come, and yeah, very excited to be
Well,
here.
Taylor, I'm proud of what you're doing. It's wonderful. And inclusiveness of what you're trying, the aim about this podcast. I'm honoured to be part of it, of course, and let's just have a great chat.
Yeah, very excited. Well, my first question is a very important one. Ian, how are you?
I'm doing really well. I am blessed. I have a wonderful family, beautiful wife. Life is good. Mm-hmm. Life is what you make it.
Yeah, very
as you know,
true.
Taylor. So we wake up every day and say, yep, let's seize the day. So that's
Very
kind of
true.
always been the attitude. So no, I'm doing really well, thank you.
I'm so glad, and you're very busy. You're still very much an athlete. I see you out bike riding and doing triathlons and running. Even my mum said she reckons she saw you the other day and tooted at you. So
I love training. You know,
Yeah.
I love the discipline of training.
Mm-hmm.
I love the routine, I guess, of training. I know for me personally, when I'm not. I haven't got a goal to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't got an event to look forward to or a schedule to stick to. I get a little bit lost.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Mentally as well.
Yeah.
So to have routine in my life is very, very important to me. I love staying fit. I love being around people. And I don't mind if it's biking, swimming, running or whatever it is. That's only the hook for me.
Yeah.
It's actually the company
Yeah.
that I enjoy.
For sure, yeah, 100%. I think also when you've been an athlete for so long, it's hard to get out of that kind of athlete mindset and not do anything. So yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah, but it's also cool feeling fit,
Yeah.
staying fit, and I always link my physical fitness with my mental fitness,
100%,
right?
yeah.
And I also love, Taylor, seeing others starting their journey. I always think something's better than nothing. I am so inspired by people just getting off the couch and walking.
100%.
And then from walking they can run and do these amazing things. That actually inspires me more than anything really.
Yeah, for sure. No, definitely. Before we get into the wild world of Ian Jones, I do just want to first say that we are actually at SkyCity currently recording. We're here at Experience All Blacks, which is an exhibit under SkyCity, and you are actually an ambassador for Experience All Blacks. Talk us through a little bit how that journey started for you.
Yeah, this has been incredible. In fact, this is 100 plus years in the making, this All Blacks experience. So what the All Black experience does is honours the legacy of all the players, both Black Ferns, All Blacks, Māori All Blacks, New Zealand Sevens players, everyone who's worn the black jersey. It's to honour their legacy. So it's taking people through the making, shaping and being an All Black. So how do you make a rugby player? Well, you make a rugby player by letting them love the game. So the grassroots, so important at this level. So that's where you start your pathway, your journey. So that's really passionate about that. And then how do you shape that love into becoming an elite athlete? And then a really special treat for people at the end where they're going to sit in a replica Eden Park and they sit there like the All Blacks or the Black Ferns with moments before kick-off and we get to talk about what it's like being an All Black. So that's an explanation, but I like people to come along here to All Black experience and you feel it. And once you feel it, you absolutely know what it's like.
I 100% agree with you. I went through the experience for the first time last week, and I had like a sort of preconception of what I thought the experience was going to be like, and it completely blew every expectation I had out of the water. Especially, my favourite part was actually the first kind of part where the old TV is in the club rooms.
Yes.
I really love... there's just something about grassroots rugby that is super exciting, and I think to experience that in the experience and see all the different clubs and have all the club jerseys up there was really cool. And then obviously the haka at the end, it gave me, I think I knew I was going to get goosebumps, but standing so close to that haka and like feeling it, I was like, oh my God.
You know, Taylor, it's like a real privilege to perform the haka.
100%.
But for many New Zealanders plus our overseas guests, it's also a real privilege to stand and watch it
100%,
as well. But before you get to that haka, you get to walk down this tunnel. Now, Taylor, I haven't played rugby for 20 plus years. Every time I walk down that tunnel, you get those goosebumps, that anxiety. Man, here we go. You're about to represent your country.
I was about to run out onto the field. I was like, here we go, boys.
Take a deep breath. And then you walk out there and bang, both the All Blacks, but the Black Ferns haka to me is just so powerful. It's almost more intimidating in some ways because these powerful wahine, man, they're just staring at you. So please come along, All Black experience and feel the power of it, really.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I was actually there, like I got to witness both the men's and the women's haka, and like you said, they were both got tingles up my spine and everything. It was truly just
incredible.
Like, I don't know how else you explain it. You just got to come and see, I guess.
Yes, you absolutely just got to come and see it. It's not a museum. It's very interactive.
Yeah.
But it just takes you through that journey, that pathway, as we said, making, shaping, and being. Plus, I mean, our guides are world class. They're incredible what they do, but they just unearth all of these kind of reasons why this team, the All Blacks, but also the Black Ferns, have been so good for so long.
Yeah, very much so.
And
Legacy.
sharing the information and explaining not the secrets, but why the values of this team.
100%.
Really important.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so if you are in Auckland or you want to come and travel and experience All Blacks, I'd highly recommend it because it is amazing. And you might even bump into Ian Jones.
You may well bump into me or plenty of other former players come through here because it's a cool place to hang out. It really is.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, well, let's jump into the life of Ian Jones. Before we get into the rugby side of things, I really want to know who Ian Jones is behind the jersey. What was your life like growing up, childhood, schooling life, all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, thanks very much, Taylor. I was wonderful, privileged. I'm the youngest of three, so I've got two older brothers, Bruce, my oldest, Greg in the middle, from a very, very supportive family, mother and father, Warren and Betsy. We grew up in a little suburb of Kamo, hence the nickname Kamo Kid. And I've got to tell you about the street I grew up in, which is Fisher Terrace.
Okay.
Fisher Terrace in Kamo. But
what went on the street?
right next door to me on the right-hand side was a guy called Brian Maunsell. Brian Maunsell, former New Zealand hockey player, hockey coach. But more importantly, the legacy for Brian Maunsell, fitness trainer to the team that won the 76 gold medal at the Olympics.
Right.
He became the fitness trainer of our street, right? My neighbour on the left-hand side was a guy called Blythe Tate. For those that don't know Blythe Tate's an Olympic and world equestrian champion. So he was kind of part of our gang in that kind of street. Was a guy called Brian Young, former New Zealand Black Cap.
My God, the street!
Yeah. Angela Brackenbridge was another lady in our street who represented New Zealand at table tennis. My mother was a nurse. We had a doctor in the street. So we were kind of, we were all, always out, like many streets in New Zealand, we were always out there kind of doing things.
Yeah.
But the success sporting-wise of that street has been quite phenomenal, and we remain very close friends from Fisher Terrace. So that's my upbringing, very, very supportive family, and family to everything. Taylor is the base of anyone's success, and the values that your parents, your brother, the support I get from all of those have kind of always put me, I think, in good stead.
Yeah, definitely. Do you know who lives on that street now? Any famous people? Any sporting legends? I feel like you'll definitely be putting that in there.
Well, you know, Taylor, I know there will be because because we came from that street and we ended up, doing okay. So the kids on that street will do exactly the same.
Yeah.
I know. And it doesn't matter what part of New Zealand you come from, right? You can follow your dreams and
100%.
go all the way to the top. And I think that's the main thing. You got to dream
Yeah, definitely.
about, hey, one day I want to represent New Zealand.
Definitely.
I never knew what sport it was going to be. I was a swimmer back in my early days, but I love sport. And I love working hard to achieve that. So, something will happen from that street. Fisher Terrace and Kamo.
Oh, undoubtedly so. Okay, let's get into your rugby journey. At what age did you start? Like very, very first game?
Yep, 5, like most kids around that age, to the Kamo Rugby Club. Once again, my family had a connection to that rugby club. A great uncle, a guy called Bunny Finlayson, was an All Black. Yeah, Tote was his name. They called him Bunny, one of 6 brothers, all represented New Zealand provincial rugby. But Bunny became an All Black 1924 to 1926. His jerseys hanging up, his jacket, blazer hanging up in the club room. So that was my connection to the Kamo Rugby Club. Our family's connections goes back there to the early 1920s. So naturally that was the club I went to. So started playing, junior rugby for Kamo and had a connection all the way through till today.
Wow. So you also said that you swam when you were younger as well, like Flynn.
Yeah.
Flynn obviously took after you in that role. What kind of swayed you one way or the other between rugby and swimming?
Well, I guess I got the breaks in rugby. I mean, I love swimming, very, very passionate about swimming, and swimming is an amazing foundation sport. It gives you the discipline, it gives you the time management, flexibility, and I absolutely, my longevity in my rugby career in terms of remaining relatively injury-free, I often put down to swimming because of the flexibility that comes with the swimming, but also the aerobic base that swimming that gave me. But Taylor, as you also know, swimming is a damn hard sport. It is really, really tough in terms of the early mornings, the long hours, the kind of you're just working really hard to get microseconds of improvement.
Yeah.
And so I guess a lot of teenagers, you got to kind of 16, I think 17, and swimming or rugby kind of took way to swimming. I got some breaks early on, got into the North Auckland rugby team in 88, and so then rugby became my focus.
Yeah,
but swimming was always my base, and swimming's my base now. That's my kind of go-to. Your fitness level is, my aerobic level's kind of determined on swimming.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Forever grateful.
Yeah,
for
and
swimming.
so with your rugby career, were you still swimming a little bit here and there with your rugby training?
Always, absolutely, because of the flexibility, because of the fitness, because of the mental space that you can get into swimming. I mean, often people say swimming's a boring sport, you're by yourself, but you're not.
No.
You're kind of, you're so technical, but you're also, to me, it's a beautiful place to be.
Yeah, definitely.
The water, so absolutely always swam right throughout my rugby career, and it's a great foundation, as I keep saying, for the fitness, aerobics, the flexibility. But I got an opportunity. In fact, how I got my opportunity in rugby was in 1988. I was on the fringes of the North Auckland team. I was playing in North Auckland Colts. I was nominated for the New Zealand Colts trials. Didn't get an opportunity, and the feedback came through to the then North Auckland coach, Danny O'Shea, was say, well, if he's not playing North Auckland rugby, he's clearly not good enough. And Danny was a stubborn farmer, passed away, God rest his soul, but he then put me into the North Auckland team in 88. And said, bugger you, I think he is good enough. The next year I was an All Black in 89.
Wow. So, okay, you touched on it a little bit, and I want to get into it kind of a bit more. At what age did you kind of realise that you had an ability to maybe not even know that you could get into the All Blacks, but at what age did you know that you had an ability to take rugby as a career quite far?
I don't even know if that happened, to be honest, Taylor. I always kind of backed myself. It's not arrogance, it's self-confidence. I never thought I was kind of be destined to play for the All Blacks. That was never in the question. I was passionate about rugby. I was passionate about doing, like all of us, the best you can absolutely be. I had a lot of supportive teammates around me, and then opportunities were presented with themselves. Danny O'Shea putting me in the North Auckland team, North Auckland playing at Eden Park against Auckland. All these kind of opportunities came along, and I guess I seized those opportunities, and and took that chance.
Yeah.
And then I remember kind of in 87, there was a funny moment. They had an All Black trial up in Whangarei. Kamo were playing a day game ahead of the trial. Just John Hart and Griswold happened to be on the sideline. Those kind of things happened in my career, and played okay. Maybe they remember that name, Ian Jones, in the back of their mind. Griswold then went on to pick me.
And you're hard to forget because you're quite tall as well.
Yeah, hard to forget because I'm quite tall. But those kind of things happened. And so, when you have a chance, you also have to take that chance.
Yeah.
And back yourself. And that kind of happened, and went to an All Black trial in 89, got picked at the end of the year, and I just love that team. That team kind of transforms me in a lot of ways, and my family, because man, when you become an All Black, Taylor, your family becomes an All Black. They live and breathe it every day like you live and breathe it.
I think most families, even if they don't have a son or daughter in the All Blacks, they think they're an All Black.
Yeah. Hey, and that's great, right?
And it's cool because it's about community,
great.
and that's how I think that's what's really special about rugby in New Zealand, especially. I think so many people love the game that you're bound to know at least someone who plays at a club or who plays or like NPC level or super level, and so you just feel like you're connected to the game, which is really special. Yeah,
and Taylor, why has this team been so good for so long? Well, one of those reasons, and there are many, many reasons, but one of those reasons is their connection with the public. Yeah. The public's love of that team, the public's desire for that team to do well. Well, it's the same for the players as well. Yeah. Absolutely the same. So, one of the reasons why this team is so good.
Yeah, definitely. Big question coming up. So how does a kid from Kamo make it into the All Blacks, let alone make it in front of All Black selectors? Take us through that journey.
Yeah, well, once more you start playing for North Auckland. So this amazing pathway that we have here in New Zealand from the grassroots, so from your club to your province, now from province to Super Rugby to All Blacks. Well, I just went through that pathway like everyone else, had opportunities to start playing for North Auckland, clearly got the eye of Griswold and John Hart and the selectors at that time, been given an opportunity to go to an All Black trial.
What was that first All Blacks trial like?
Well, it was amazing because I had never been involved in a New Zealand team, right? I hadn't been through the New Zealand Colts programs, I hadn't played New Zealand schools, so didn't know a lot of the guys. So you kind of went down there and you had to back yourself, Taylor. If you're not going to back yourself, who the hell is going to back you? I mean, I had family that backed you 100%. I had teammates from Kamo and North Auckland who were backing you 100%, and so indebted to those people. But you got to kind of put yourself out there, and did kind of worked out okay. I wasn't picked during the 1989 domestic series. But Griswold and his fellow selectors picked some young guys, which was unheard of back in those days for the tour to Canada, Wales and Ireland. So a 14-match tour over 2 months. And myself and Matthew Ridge was there, Craig Guinness, Graham Bishop, John Timu, Graham Purvis, some young guys. Weren't big names back then. Walter Little, some young guys back then. Gave them a chance. I went on that tour. It was 14 matches, I said. I didn't play any of the test matches. The incumbents were Gary Wetton and Murray Pearce, so World Cup winning locks from 87. But it just fueled my, I love this team. It's kind of, and when you love that team and when you set a goal of becoming an All Black, then you have to, this is swimming, right? When you achieve a goal is amazing, Taylor, but then you have to reset a goal, right?
Next one,
So All Black, amazing, loved it. But then I wanted to play a test match and got the chance the following year in 1990.
Yeah. So I want to talk about that first test match. You've been named in the squad however many days prior to that first game. You're in the changing rooms, you're putting on that black jersey, you're running out of the tunnels for the first time, you can hear the crowd screaming, roaring, all that sort of stuff. What are the emotions running through your body going out of that tunnel, then playing, and then kind of post-match?
Well, I took some deep breaths for a start. And I got that chance because the incumbent lock forward, Murray Pearce, had left New Zealand Rugby, had gone to play Currie Cup in Natal. So there was an opportunity. So grateful for Griswold that gave me the opportunity to partner Gary Wetton. Named, and back in those days, Taylor, it was the rules that you could only get together on the Wednesday before the Saturday test match. So we all flew down on the Tuesday night. He didn't have a kind of lot of time to get too nervous because you train Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, played against Scotland. It was on the Saturday at Carisbrook. So kind of was such a bit of a whirl. You didn't get, I don't know, didn't have too much time to think about it and talk yourself out of it, right?
I'm so good at that.
I'd been with the team the year before, so that was kind of a nice, soft introduction. And then once more, you just had to, hey, I believe I belong here. I believe I'm going to do okay. I was, surrounded by some really experienced people saying the lineouts. Buck Shelford, the captain, was behind me. Richard Lowe was in front of me, so I felt pretty well protected down there. It was this glorious blue sky Carisbrook day. It was amazing. And running out, it just kind of was a buzz. It just felt incredible. Yeah. Kieran Crowley, on the comeback, he was playing that test as well. Walter Little, debutant, also on that day. And it just, the All Blacks played well. Everything was going our way. It clicked. It just felt incredible. I felt comfortable out there, and I don't know if you're ever that comfortable, but felt cool.
No, for sure.
And afterwards, I remember thinking back and said, wow, that 80 minutes went like in about 2.
Yeah.
It was just like over before it started.
A lot of adrenaline then.
Yep, a lot of adrenaline, just playing on instinct, playing on the buzz, just kind of convincing yourself that, hey, you're good enough to be here. Don't do anything that you're kind of not asked to do. I've always kind of had that in my mind, and coaches often said this too, Taylor. No one's asking you to do more or less than what you've done, right?
Yeah,
you just need to do your job. Yeah. And it's an amazing thing about playing for the All Blacks is that you just got to trust the other 14 people around will do their job. And if you worry about your job, then the outcome's going to be okay, right?
Yeah, wow.
And I think that was the mindset from the start.
Yeah, for sure. I think one thing I want to touch on, one thing I've really picked up on while you've been speaking is how important attitude is to you and mindset. Can you talk to me a little bit about that? Has it always, I feel like it's always been that way for you ever since you were a young kid. I kind of want to know, is it just like the way you were brought up? Is it something that your parents instilled in you? How did you kind of come across this mindset? Because I think for me, especially when I was in sport and when I was younger and competing at a high level, I didn't have that same sort of attitude. I was always very anxious, and I struggled a lot with my mental health, and I think people think when you're at the top of your game that's always just sunshine and rainbows and all that sort of stuff, but I know for me personally I struggled a lot. So I'd love to know where that mindset started from.
Yeah, it's incredible self-belief, I think, comes from my mother, very, very supportive lady, but my father as well. My father was just got us that kind of mindset of working really hard.
Yeah.
And look, as you know, Taylor, absolutely no secret. I wish I could tell people, hey, do A, B, and C, and you become an elite sports person. Sure. It's not going to be like that. No. You just have to work harder than anyone else. Yeah. I think hard work will always overcome talent. If you have talent and hard work, well, bang, you become a superstar. Yeah. Dan Carter, Kieran Reid, those type of people. But most of us aren't like that. Most of us...
We can only hope.
Most of us are just working harder than the next person.
Yeah, for sure.
And that kind of gets you the goals. So I think my mother, a lot about that self-belief, believing in you. But you also got to believe in yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
As well. So I think that, and you got to kind of look at me and you look at this. I'm no physical specimen, right?
I mean, you're tall.
I'm tall, so I've ticked that box.
Yeah.
But that's about it, right? So you always had, in my mind, I was looking at my opposition, they're always physically bigger than me, but I never kind of once, and once I get back to self-belief thinking, I don't belong here. Hey, this guy's so much bigger than me, there's no way I can compete. I never kind of had that mindset. Yeah. I just thought, man, I'm just going to give this everything I friggin' got type of thing. And always believed about working. I've worked hard to get here. I've worked harder than this guy. I remember all the time I was doing a lot of training by myself, and it was always that mindset. Say when Johnny Eels started coming on the scene, I was thinking, Johnny Eels will do 15 of these, I'm going to do 20 of them. I don't know what he was doing. He could have done 21. You know what I mean? Yeah. I always kind of thought, I got to do more than anyone else. I want to do one extra.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was that kind of, that drive, because Yeah, as I say, I didn't have the physical qualities to kind of be an All Black lock, but in my mind I did.
I mean,
You know what
I
mean?
think it worked out because you're like one of the greatest locks to ever wear the jersey.
Yeah, well, I'm a living example, Taylor. If you work harder than the next person, if you believe in yourself. I mean, I was always so privileged to have really supportive teammates, family, clearly around who kind of believed in you as
Yeah,
well.
for sure.
Selectors that gave you the opportunity, but people can give you everything in life, Taylor. You also have to take it, right?
Take it, yeah. I think one thing also I want to touch on, obviously, no disrespect here, but there wasn't social media back in your day, so I kind of want to. I feel like these days there's a big comparison game. I think in all walks of life, whether you're an athlete or you're just a normal, regular, sneaker human walking down the side of the road, I think comparison is quite a big thing. Obviously, there was still media back in your day. Did you ever kind of come across articles about yourself and did it make you second guess yourself, or did you never really pay attention to that?
Oh no, clearly. I mean, yeah, there's lots of articles about, hey, how can the skinny kid represent the
Skinny
All
kid from
Black?
Kamo.
Yeah, there's no way. He wasn't a prototype All Black lock. There was so many comments like that, but there's also on the flip side so many comments on, man, this kid's giving it heaps, and this kid's going to go okay, and all of that. So I just kept believing in myself the whole time. Often you'd read comments from someone, and I was that attitude of, I'll show you. Type of thing, not in a negative way. I never hate on anyone, but I thought...
Use it to fuel you.
Just fuel me. I mean, I once again, you get back to self-belief. Far out. If you're not going to believe in yourself, Taylor, no one
100%.
will believe in yourself, ever.
Definitely.
So there was a lot of that. But honestly, I have to say 100%, and I didn't grow up in a social media world. I've always found there's been always a lot more support for me. And encouragement for me than the flip side. And I think always people treat you how you treat them.
Yeah.
If you're kind and positive and have this amazing outlook and, hey, things are going to be pretty good, that's how people kind of also treat you.
Yeah, for sure.
So I've been pretty blessed in that regard.
No, definitely. Okay, we've talked a lot about the rugby journey. We're going to keep talking that a little bit more. I want to know what some kind of, I guess, standout memories or highlights are for you when you were in the black jersey. Yeah,
look, Taylor, it's an absolute cliche, but your first game is special. It really is. They give you that black jersey. My first one was against the Cardiff Rugby Club at the Arms Park. It's an amazing rugby venue in Cardiff in Wales. So that's a special moment because, as I said, it's not just you becoming an All Black, it's your family.
Yeah.
They're all part of that journey. So that really is a special moment. Your first Test jersey, once more, is really special. And my first Test jersey was actually a white jersey. We were playing Scotland, they're in dark blue. So that's a pretty unique first Test jersey. That was pretty cool. And every step along that journey, I think I tried to, and we had always used to get these faxes and make this one count or make this one like your first. Try and remember that day you put on that first jersey. So to recreate those feelings every time you represent the All Blacks, I thought was pretty special. The World Cup final in 1995 at Ellis Park. Okay, the result didn't go our way. But what an amazing occasion to be part of when we walked down this incredible tunnel out into Ellis Park, standing there, and then Mr. Mandela walked out.
Wow.
It was so powerful.
Oh, I just got goosebumps.
Incredible. I make most people look little, Taylor, but this tiny little man with so much power, so much mana, this aura of him. And you think, Farah, this is crazy. How are we going to win this day? And we didn't. so that was a moment. The All Blacks won a Test series for the very first time in our history in '96 in South Africa. We won the series in Pretoria. That was a moment for all All Blacks, all New Zealanders.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty special one as well.
Yeah, definitely. No, that I can't imagine what it would be like to walk out of that tunnel and just Nelson Mandela is standing there.
Yeah.
That would have been pretty crazy.
It was crazy. It was crazy when you look back on it, and like I've never physically looked back on the game, but the memory is in my brain forever.
Yeah, for sure.
what a special human being he was.
Yeah.
You know, I've been so privileged throughout my rugby career to kind of meet people like him, be around people like Mr. Mandela, and just kind of, you know, learn from the way that they behave, the way they treat people, and you just saw his power that day. But, you know, wow, what a privilege.
Yeah, definitely. So I want to touch on the Rugby World Cup. Obviously, the Rugby World Cup is on at the moment. I hear you're heading over to France very soon. Are you excited for that?
I am so lucky, right? Yeah, I'm really excited for that, because I know the French are going to do an amazing job. In my humble opinion, one country, one Rugby World Cups, to me, are always the best. You know, you're kind of living and breathing the World Cup, and the one country, the one media, everyone's kind of talking about it.
Yeah.
The stadiums over there are just incredible.
Oh, they look it.
And whilst rugby's the hook, rugby's the occasion, it's the atmosphere, it's the fans that really make it for me, and which I'm really excited to be part of.
Yeah, for sure. So you've obviously played at 2 or 3 Rugby World Cups. I was wondering if you could say anything to the current team that are playing over there right now at the World Cup, what would it be?
Well, no, New Zealand's got your back, 100%. Break down every game, and I think this is a lesson we've learned into the most important game of the tournament. We have, when I look back on my own career, made some mistakes when we've looked ahead to a semi-final or a final. And when you look ahead, you can sometimes stumble, right? So just take every game as the most important game. And then bank that, celebrate that, pat yourself on the back if it's a win, then refocus and reset those goals the very next day. I think that's a lesson certainly I've learned, and teams that I've been involved in and other World Cups have learned, looking too far ahead. So yeah, just don't worry about tomorrow, just deal with today.
Focus on it now. Yeah, great advice. Staying on the theme of the dice, you've obviously done a lot in your life, whether it's been in rugby or your TV commentating or your ambassador roles or your kind of like sport outside of being a professional athlete. Knowing what you know now, what would be one piece of advice that you'd give to younger Ian? Before his whole world kind of turned into Ian Jones, the All Black, what would it be?
That is a wonderful question, Taylor. And you kind of look back and say, what would you give a young Ian Jones just starting out? And whilst I think I had a lot of self-belief back then, I think always get back to why are you playing the sport you're doing, whether it's triathlon, whether it's swimming, whether it's rugby, in my case, and you're doing it because you enjoy it. You love it. So make sure you love every moment that you're doing. You know, there's going to be some tough moments. There's going to be some harrowing moments that you think, far out, this is...
Why am I doing
all of this? But I think we always got to step back at some stage, right? And say, hey, I love what I'm doing. I enjoy the game of rugby. No one's forcing me to play rugby or swim or run or what the sport I'm doing. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
So I think I'd try and enjoy some of those moments kind of more rather than just kind of be so focused and obsessed with getting the result and moving on to the next one.
Yeah, for sure.
So maybe taking some more time to say, hey,
enjoy the
well
small
done, man.
Yeah, no, definitely.
That's pretty cool.
I think, I agree with you. I think with my own athlete career, whether it was in swimming or athletics, I think that's definitely one piece of the ice I give to myself, because I think you can get so caught up in the moment of, I've got to do this, this, and this, or I've got to get to this time, or I've got to get this medal, or I've got to do this on this day. You know, it can get really kind of a lot of head noise. So like enjoying those small moments. I
mean, I look back and what makes, I look back now and what makes a great athlete, and enjoyment is kind of up there. It really is. There's so much more you have to do, with consistency, and you got to be perseverance and goal orientated, and all the structures and all of those kind of things are important, right? They really, really are.
Yeah, for sure.
But man, enjoyment has to be up there as well.
Yeah, for sure. Right, we are kind of getting into the part of the episode where I put out a question box on my Instagram stories yesterday, and I got people to send in some questions for you.
Okay.
And they definitely pulled through. They were very excited to hear that you were coming on the podcast.
Thank you, people.
So the first question is, what did it feel like to put on the black jersey for the first time?
Yeah, good question, and amazing. It really is. It's such a privilege representing your country, you know, the legacy of that jersey. And, you know, you don't own that jersey, right? You just want to kind of, I think, enhance it, put it in a better place than when you first put it on. So, an incredible feeling for me and my family, really.
Yeah, for sure.
For me and my whole family.
Yeah, definitely. Next question is it true that you once got forced to play with a concussion?
No, I don't think so. And the funny thing about, I don't know if I was ever concussed. I mean, I know I've had lots of knocks along the way, and no doubt sprayed some water back in the day. But that was back in the day. The way they're doing their concussions protocols now are spot on. Yeah, we are improving every step of the way,
for sure.
Taylor. But yeah, I mean, I don't think I was concussed.
Can't remember.
I can't remember.
Next question is favourite memory playing for Northland and North Harbour.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, well, wonderful actually. Well, I was North Auckland back in the day, and man, those people, guy called Chris Held, Charles Going, Mike Barry, people like that, kind of was so supportive of me. So, favourite moment playing for North Auckland, I think it was. Well, we played the British and Irish Lions, and that was an amazing experience.
Wow.
In '93. That was really cool. Running out to Okara Park was a buzz the whole time.
Yeah.
And every time we played Auckland, actually, because the North Auckland boys just up the ante.
Yeah.
And then in '94, so at the end of the '93 season, I left North Auckland and started playing for North Harbour. And the reason I did that, very, very quickly, Taylor, I was dropped from the All Blacks in '93. I'd gone from playing Kamo, so club rugby one Saturday, to playing for the All Blacks against the British and Irish Lions at Lancaster Park the following Saturday.
Wow.
So club to test match, way off the mark, didn't play that well. We only just won that test match thanks to the boot of Grant Fox. Got a phone call on the Sunday from the coach at the time, Laurie Mains. Hey, you know, talked about the game, you're not playing, you're on the reserves. And listen, when you're an All Black, Taylor, you do anything that you have to stay in that team. And I made that decision on that day, although I was in the reserves for the second test and played the second test, played the third test. I made a decision that I want to go to the World Cup in '95.
Yeah.
The only way I thought I could guarantee myself a spot in the World Cup in '95 is being All Black in '94. How was I going to be an All Black in '94? I had to play Super Rugby.
Yeah.
North Auckland wasn't playing Super Rugby. North Harbour were.
Yeah.
So that's why I made the decision to leave North Auckland, come to Harbour, who's been amazing for me. Yeah, played Super 10 it was for North Harbour, was an All Black in '94, went to the World Cup in '95 and blah, blah, blah. So you do what you have to do. So, yeah, like North Auckland or Northland and their supporters gave me the opportunity.
Wow.
But North Harbour gave me a second chance.
Yeah, wow.
Which is what I'm
special.
Yeah, how special.
Yeah, no, definitely. Next question is, was mental health ever a big issue back when you were in the All Blacks environment?
No, it wasn't, and wrongfully so, I guess, at the time. I mean, I was a teammate of Sir John Kerwin, and you see the amazing work he is doing, the power of the influence that JK has, and I was a teammate of his, and
you just didn't know.
You didn't know, and wasn't very supportive of what JK was going through. And I mean, we all look back on those times and maybe wish we could have done more. But what a wonderful thing that we have moved on, the power of Gilbert and Oka. I was in the team in 1999 when Gilbert came in, and these are the attitudes of rugby back in those days, that New Zealand Rugby Union wouldn't pay for a mental skills coach back in 1999. So Gilbert came in as a masseur.
Wow.
I mean, Gladstone, right? Yeah, crazy. And look at the amazing work you know Gilbert has done still with the team today. So no, it wasn't. It was a different time, clearly.
Yeah.
but every time we're talking about this, the power, what we can do for these players is brilliant to see, because what any person wants, Taylor, that's what we give support to anyone out there, is we've got your back. Yeah. When someone says to you, I have your back, Taylor, you can do anything you want, I will support you 100%, you can go on and do amazing things.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I had that with my family, I had that with my teammates. Now we talk a little bit more about mental health. We're more aware of it now, but it's the same thing back in those days.
Yeah, for sure.
When people have your back, incredible.
Definitely. We've got a few more. What's one piece of advice you would give to a young Ian just starting out? Yeah,
like I said before, enjoy what you're doing. But remember, and I had this from my father, remember you have to work harder than anyone else. Yeah, definitely. There is no shortcuts. You work hard, and if you think you're working hard, work a little bit harder. Yeah. You know what I mean? To me, because I didn't have the physical attributes, I wasn't going to be busting through everyone. I had to be aerobically, in my mind, fitter than anyone else. When you're aerobically fitter than anyone else, your mind stays sharper all the way through. Often when we see mistakes happening in sport, is because you're physically fatigued. Yeah, for sure. If you're physically fit, you don't get mentally fatigued. Yeah. So work hard, man. Work hard. Work smarter and harder. Yeah, well, that's right. Smarter and harder, but just work hard. Which international team did you enjoy playing the most? Yeah, that's a great question. Hell. South Africa, I think. South Africa, because of the amazing rivalry that we have with them, the respect I have for the South Africans themselves. You're really testing yourself when you're taking on the South Africans. So them, but I also love playing the French. I absolutely loved playing for the French because the respect that they had for the All Blacks, the way they lifted themselves against the All Blacks. Olivier Roumart was a guy who played a lot against the French, had a lot of respect for him. So I loved the French. But yes, South Africans as well. And hey, who doesn't like betting Australia that way? So true. I actually love the New Zealand and Australia rivalry. That I think if I was to play rugby, and I am never going to play rugby in my life, I don't think I ever could. I could never get tackled. I just could never get tackled. But I think one team I'd want to play against would be South Africa. I think what an experience that would be. Yeah, I don't know, Taylor. With the greatest respect to your swimming shoulders, I think you'd be a great rugby player. No, I'd be such a boss out there. The other team I love, because New Zealanders have a connection with this country, or a lot of New Zealanders do, is Scotland. Right, yeah. To play at Murrayfield is an amazing venue if you're a Kiwi with Scottish roots. To hear the lone bagpiper up on the stands at Murrayfield, to run out into that ground. What an experience. Yeah, that is an experience. Because every ground in the world, Taylor, has this different characteristic. Yeah. Everyone has this different vibe. I mean, Twickenham, you got the car parks, so the picnics outside where you drive down through the mall. As I said, Millennium Stadium, Cardiff, so close, right in the heart of the city. You got that. Yeah. Scotland with the beautiful bagpipes. So everyone has a different vibe. But man, Murrayfield was pretty cool. Yeah, wow. And we've got one more. Do you remember your first try? If so, what was it like? I do. Well, my first try... I know you've got at least a couple of them. I'm trying to remember if my first try was... I remember my first test try. Yeah. My first test try was actually my first test in 1990 at Carisbrook. Oh, no way. Yeah. Now, here's the story. Here's bottom right-hand corner as we were playing. On my 50th test was against Scotland, also in a white All Black jersey, at Carisbrook. Oh, my gosh. And I scored a try in exactly the same spot. 100% the same spot, bottom right-hand corner. You must have been thinking, this is some sort of deja vu. Am I playing my first test again? I wish I'd put a bet on it. So the old railway line end. So I do remember those tries. How special was it? Because, I always love when someone gets a try and then the whole team comes in and hits them across the head, and it's like, I don't know if
people actually enjoy getting hit across the head, and Dad and I were discussing it. I think it was in the most recent game that the All Blacks played, and he's like, they can't enjoy getting hit across the head like that.
Yeah, I don't know. It was back in the day when you kind of scored your try, which was cool in itself, and then you almost ran back to halfway with no emotion. It wasn't until kind of Jeff Wilson started scoring all his amazing tries that he started
Of
showing
course
some
it was
emotion,
Jeff Wilson.
which was a good thing, right?
Yeah.
A really, really good thing. But before then, it was dot down. I didn't dot down that many and kind of walk back and hey man, enjoy
How
your
many more
moment.
can I get in this game?
You should be high-fiving, you should be hugging.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I do remember those tries.
Wow, how cool. Well, that's pretty much it for this podcast. I do want to say how grateful I am that I got to talk to you today. I think this is like a very full circle moment for me. Obviously, we know each other, and I think this is what has made this first guest episode really special. I know younger Taylor probably couldn't imagine what older Taylor doing is now, and I'm sure young Ian would be very proud of older Ian as well. But yeah, I just want to say very thankful that you are here, very thankful to experience All Blacks for hosting me today, and really excited for what we're going to create together, and yeah, just thank you so much, Ian.
Yeah, thank you very much, Taylor. Good luck for what you're doing going forward. For me, I mean, I can't believe I'm sitting here as well. If I look back at my younger me, it's this team, this All Black team, and the people around this team, support they have from family, my North Auckland support, my New Zealand support, that's given me the opportunity to sit with you and chat about something I absolutely love,
100%.
a team that has absolutely made me who I am and made all of us who we are, the values that we stand for. So thank you very much for the opportunity to look back, to discuss it.
Yeah.
Good luck with what you have got coming forward, and yay to Taylor. Well done you.
Thank you so much, guys, for listening. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're listening on audio platforms, leave a rating and review, and follow Ian on Instagram. I believe it's Kamo Kid, isn't it?
Kamo Kid 04. So I'd love some love out there.
We've got to get his followers up.
Yeah, very new to the market. I'm not your demographic, but hey, come on my journey. You never know where I'm going to end up.
Are you on TikTok?
No, I'm not.
Oh my God, I'll get you on TikTok, don't worry. All right, thanks so much, guys, and thanks, Ian, and that is us over and out. Wonderful. Oh, that was so
well done,
brave.
you.
Thank you so much.
You've done well.